Lisa?
As far as doing something after the privilege of studying abroad, I think for me, since it was just this fall, that's still in the process. And my passion is healthcare. I'm really interested in healthcare, be it reform or be it going to medical school. That's still kind of in the works. But I plan to do something in the future internationally as a result of my experience in Argentina. And so I guess that would be my way of kind of saying, wow, this really was a privilege. It really did impact me, and then giving back in that way as appropriate to each individual country. Another way is we actually have a forum/discussion-based class that is called Global Citizenship at Luther. And so I decided to sign up for that class. And we spend 3 hours on Monday nights talking about our abroad experiences and how we were impacted and what we can do now as a result of our experiences and with our passions to make that difference in the world and to keep it ongoing and connect with people that have those same interests. So I guess that's something else that I decided to do in order to keep that idea, that it was a privilege to go abroad fresh in my mind. And I thought it was interesting how you made that comment about saying that you're American in a foreign country. I ran into that all the time in Argentina. They'd be like, oh, so you're one of those Americans who like, we are too. And so we talked for a while about it. And I realized that my word choice has changed. Sometimes I do still use it. But it's funny to say that, oh, I'm a U.S. citizen, but I tend to use that a lot more than say, oh, I'm an American, because it applies to everyone on this side. So.
Well, I want to thank you for those are very good questions. And I think they're questions for all of us to think about. And I would say that, as a professor, I guess I've been transformed, and I'll just guess, I know I've been transformed in precisely that way. And at it, you were talking about coming back. It's funny now, just going, we have a little ice cream store, an ice cream place in Decorah where it's called Whippy Dip. And everybody goes there now. And it's funny, I buy my 12-year-old son a $2 shake, and then I translate that into South African rands. And then I think, how much would this family that Whitney lived with, how much would the mother have to, they would never do that, right? So I'm constantly thinking about privilege, and I think I'm trying to also help the students think about privilege, and your question is, I think, well taken, and we all need to think about it. Yeah, come in.
I don't know how to formulate this. It would be a general question mostly for us involved in sending students abroad. The question is this: how do we talk about a meaningful experience? It's a problem that, for example, the second group of students didn't face because they were talking about mostly sociological or economics or something like that. Whereas this panel is trying to say what they went through. But we don't seem to have a language for that, or at least as someone who's been leading programs abroad for 15 years, I don't know how to teach a student how to extract meaning from an experience. Do I teach them some concrete exercises? For example, some of you have been in Rome, but something that we all share when we go to Rome is the color of Rome, that orange, mustard colors buildings have. And we're impacted by that immediately. Is it time when we're facing a building that is 500 years old, we are surrounded by a different sense of temporality? How do we talk about those things? Is there a theory for that? Can I prepare the students with some basic tool set? Because I know, like in sociology, for example, it would be something like the theory of daily life. And how do we talk about dailiness? Very difficult. It is almost invisible, and yet it is all the time there. But then there seems to be some kind of philosophical dimension to this, which is, why do I respond to space and time in such a way? And that is certainly different spaces, different temporalities, etc. So for faculty people and also for you, do we have a guideline? How do we make that experience more concrete? With my students, I have them do absolutely practical things like look at an animal, describe it for 45 minutes in a park. Don't tell me what you think. Tell me what a dog is doing in Rome. Tell me what kinds of games were children playing at a piazza. Observe them for 2 hours and make a list of the way they moved. Just as an attempt to what? To enhance their sensitivity to concrete reality and not to their cultural ideas of blah, 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 blah. Is first relate to physical space and time around you. There is experience ingrained in that. How do we expose it? Okay, that's the question.
I think that we're going to have to leave that question hanging because we're but I think it's an important one, and I appreciate the fact that you're, in a way, kicking the question back to us professors, and we're kind of showing you our hand. There's a lot of stuff we don't know, and we need your help as well when we go together as a community into some of these experiences. So thank the audience and the panel very much for this.